Hi, Chanel. Chanel.
Yeah, Chanel.
Okay, Chanel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, you look amazing.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
It's very nice to meet you. Um,
Same.
so one question that I have for you is how would you describe your childhood and how has it molded you into who you are today?
Oh, that's a great question. I think my childhood is really the bedrock of why I am the woman I am today. My childhood was filled with a house full of love. Even though I was raised by a single mom, she gave me so much love, her and my sister. It was filled with good food. That's why if you guys ever watch the show, I'm always eating because I love food, especially good food. And it was filled with a level of conviction that anything in which you put your mind to, you can achieve it. And that's why when I came in season five, I was Miss Four Degrees because that was an accomplishment that I really held near and dear to my heart because I know how hard it was to achieve that. So my childhood is something that I absolutely look back on and smile at because it, whether it was the ups or the downs, has made me who I am today.
Yeah, it's amazing. Definitely having like a strong female role model is very important
Yeah.
at home and having you on TV as that strong female role model for all girls to see is also amazing.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you.
So, do you think that the group often misunderstands you because of your Nigerian roots and different cultural background?
That's interesting. And I haven't really thought of it from that lens, but that could be a possibility, right? Like I know with Nigerians, we often say if you walk into our household, you think we're fighting, but we're really just talking because we are very, animated individuals. We talk all the time with our hands. We have, voices that are amplified. Uh, so that could be a possibility. However, I believe that these women that I have the honor to be on this cast with are learned women, and they are not, uh, they do not lack awareness of other cultures. And so I don't think that that should be a roadblock for anything or misunderstanding, right? I feel
Mm,
like it's a choice. I feel like they are deliberately wanting to misunderstand me because that gives them some level of evidence to say, this is why I can mistreat you. So I
mm.
think that the misunderstanding is willful.
Okay. So, how would you describe your role in the show um, overall?
I think that for me, it's just to show up as my authentic self. I take pride in being the first Nigerian housewife in the Bravo TV franchise. I take pride in being a mom of three children and a wife to my husband of almost 12 years. And those things really ground me. Those things are the reason why I do the things I do. So, for me, my role is to show little Black girls who look like me that, no matter what society tells you, you are enough. And anything in which you decide that you want to achieve, you can do it.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've heard some things from my friends, really appreciating you as a person on the
Oh,
show. So I just want to let you know that definitely what you're trying to do is being well received.
thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Of course. How do you think that this reality show is different from the others?
I think that the origin of well, when you say this reality show, I will say I would speak from RHOP, the lens of just RHOP, not other housewives. I think that where we're situated, anyone who knows the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, you know that there is this level of Black aristocrats, so to speak, in the area. And when the show was first developed and when you guys saw it, it really spoke to that. It spoke to the Jack and Jill nature of Black society. And I think that that made us unique in that that's not something that was seen on TV and it has evolved over time. But I still think at its base, that still exists, that DC, Maryland culture for Black people. Even some of our intro and outro music is DC go-go melodies. So I love that authenticity to the region.
Yeah, I think that's great. My one of my closest friends is from that area, and so we were watching some of the clips last night and some like episodes, and he was really into it because he's from the area. So
Yeah, I love that.
yeah. Um, so I know that you're an assistant professor at John Hopkins, which is one of the best research colleges in the country. Everyone knows that.
Let's talk
Um,
about it.
so what inspired you to become a professor? And are your students aware that you're on the show?
My students are very aware, but my hat goes off to them. They never bring it up. I'm just Dr. Wendy to them. They never bring it up, and it is one of the things that I love because it allows me to do my job and do it well with just a keen focus on my students. And I didn't want to be a professor. That's not something I had in my bingo card of life, but it just happened. I actually wanted to be an attorney. I went to law school. It didn't work out. And being from a Nigerian household, my mom was like, okay, great, but you still have to be a doctor. And I never saw myself as a medical doctor. So I said, okay, well, what else can I do? I went on to get my PhD. And the natural flow of things, usually for people once they complete their PhD, is to apply for professorships. And as luck will have it, or as God will have it, I would say, I got a position at my amazing university, and I've been there for almost, oh my God, I think I'm on year 8. I've been there for a while.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think, teaching is such a wonderful job. And as someone who's in college myself, like it's it's an amazing job. And I'm so lucky to have the professors I have. And I know that you're probably an amazing professor as well.
Well, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but yes, I am. And all my teachers, all my students say I am. But thank you. So funny. I knew you were in college, but I didn't want to say anything. And I only knew because I was looking at your ceilings. I was like, that looks like the ceilings in my dorm room. I was like, that is a dorm room ceiling. But anyway, okay, go ahead.
um, so uh my next question is, what is your current relationship with Giselle, and what are your thoughts about Robin and her using their podcast to share information that they withheld during the season?
My relationship with Giselle is non-existent, and I'm okay with that. And about Robin withholding information, I think that that is a slap in the face to all of us who share our lives, no matter how bad it is. And that's not what this show is about. The show is about sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly, whether you want to or not. It's literally called reality TV. And when it comes to a point that you're not living your reality, then the question becomes, okay, so what are we doing here? So,
Mhm. Yeah, that's definitely based on, yeah, your answer before about your role, about being authentic and what you like about the show being so authentic. I understand how that could be, you know, you could feel very kind of uncertain and felt like a
yeah,
little dismissed a bit. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So I know that the season 7 reunion is going to air
Hmm.
this Sunday.
Yes.
So, and most people, or most housewives during the reunion choose to drop their most explosive receipts. What can fans expect to hear?
I think fans can expect to hear us cover every topic and answer almost every burning question that they had during the season. The reunion gave us the space to really talk about issues that we had. And I think that as a group, we did a good job um, addressing those issues and hashing them out. So I think that viewers can look forward to having their questions answered.
Okay, that's great. I also know that you wrote a book. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, my book, my memoir, Tears of My Mother, the legacy of my Nigerian upbringing, it really speaks to why I am the way I am by doing a very introspective look at my childhood, by looking at how my Nigerian culture has impacted me, and then me making a decision of the ways that I'm going to raise my own children now that I'm a mom of three. So the book really runs the gamut of looking at my life from a bird's eye view, but also analyzing it to see how it's applicable to the lives of other people. And I give a little bit of RHOPTs in there as well.
Okay, that's great. Um, let's see. What is it like to have most of your life on television? I know you said like your students don't really bring it up, which is great. But what is that like? And do you think that you've changed throughout the show? And if so, then how?
Uh, I think being on reality TV, you get to see yourself in a way that you don't. Meaning it's very rare that we get to watch back life's moments from an audience's viewpoint. And I get to see that, right? I get to see moments that I'm not so happy about, but also moments that bring me great joy. Like my daughter, her sippancy was filmed my first season, and now to look at her as this big girl who's three and who talks back to me. I'm like, I remember when you were just a baby. And I think that reality TV has changed me. I think it's changed me because it has allowed me to realize that everyone has an opinion. I think sometimes in our own worlds outside of TV, you think what you think and that's it. But in reality TV, you could literally have 20 people watch the same exact thing and they will have 20 different perceptions of what that thing is. And
Mhm,
so that has been enlightening for me to know that, you know, perception is in the eye of the beholder almost. Like
mhm.
depending on who sees it will depend on what they think about.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm glad to know that, you and other people that are on that Real Housewives go back and watch these like clips because even when I'm watching reality TV, I go, well, I wonder if they go back and they watch it. And yeah, I think that, watching back your own self and seeing like other people definitely can open your eyes to other people's perspectives so you can understand maybe where they're coming from.
Absolutely.
So, in what ways do you ensure that your career as Dr. Wendy isn't affected by your career on reality TV or even just your personal life?
I think that's really important to know that what you guys see on the show is more so my social life, meaning you see my interactions with a group of women and my friends, right? And the
Mhm,
truth of the matter is, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, or engineer, we all have a social life outside of our profession. And you can't really conflate the two. To be honest with you, spoiler alert, your professors are some of the biggest partiers you'll ever meet. Because I even hang out with my colleagues who are professors, and who we are in the classroom is not who we are socially. So
mhm,
I just think that there's beauty and also a humanizing factor in knowing that, yes, you can be a professional, but this professional also has real life issues too. This professional also struggles with motherhood. This professional also struggles with her friends. And I don't see that as a bad thing. I actually see that as relatable, that no matter who we are in life and what we've achieved in life, that we all go through some of the same things.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely very true. Like, there's lots of different aspects to a person. Like, you can be everything.
That's
Yeah.
right. You can.
Yeah, I think that I remember when I was looking at some clips that uh, like you had been more expressive in, like who you are, not just like as Dr. Wendy, but just as you yourself through, what you wore and, how
Mm-hmm.
maybe you just felt more comfortable. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, I think that the questions of clothing choice only pertains to women. And that's reflective of the fact that our society is one that is rooted in masculinity. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that women have to be dressed in a certain type of way in order to be taken seriously. Whether I wear a bikini or not, I'm still Dr. Wendy, and
Mhm.
I'm still able to read to you Plato's greatest work as well as Aristotle's greatest work. What I wear on my body has no indication of what's in my head. And as a mother of a little girl, I want her to feel comfortable to express herself in the ways that she wants to and not be judged by her attire. Because if we're being completely honest, the same thing happens to Black women with our hair. We are
Mhm.
judged by our hair to the point that there has to be a bill passed to say that Black women can wear afros in the military or Black women can wear braids. Who we are has no direct correlation to what our aesthetic appearance is. And society needs to catch up with that. So if I get all the backlash and I take all the bullets, for lack of a better word, for being the first doctor who dresses in a certain way, then so be it. As long as that opens the door for other doctors to be able to dress the way they want to, because now society has conformed to it. It is what it is.
Yeah, I completely agree. I remember viewing the show and viewing those clips and thinking like, well, she is a person. Like she's not just Dr. Wendy. She has her own life, her own lifestyle. She has her own persona.
Right.
Like there are different aspects to this woman, and that's beautiful. And lots
Absolutely.
of lots of Black girls I know feel that way when they go outside the house. Like it's they shouldn't be judged on what they wear or how their hair is styled
There
because
you go.
that's just them. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I
I wish
definitely.
I, one regret I do have is I wish I owned it more when it was happening to me. I
Mhm.
felt like I didn't, because it was new to me too.
Mhm.
I was like questioning myself, like, is this right? Is this wrong? But now that I look back on it, I'm like, man, forget that. Like, I wish I would have owned it more. And I just thank all the people who are professionals who told me, thank you for doing that because you're right. You know, we want to be able to be our authentic selves and not have our intellect questioned. So, yes.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would want to say to your viewers?
Um, well, since you're in college, I would like to say something to all of our college viewers. I first of all thank you for watching the show, but I also want to tell you guys that college may seem very hard and it may seem difficult, but I promise you that when you look back on your experiences 5 years after you graduate, you'll be so happy that you did it. College was the best decision I ever made, and it was the best 4 years of my life. And I learned so much and became the woman, the independent woman I am today because of my 4 years in college. So, salute to you guys. Keep on doing what you're doing. And I promise you that it'll be worth it in the end.
Thank you. I know that everyone hearing that would really appreciate it as much as I do. So thank
Absolutely.
you so much for having this interview with me and sharing everything and answering all the questions beautifully and honestly. I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Have a good day.